Does the tip even matter on DoorDash anymore? Let's go ahead and go into it. So back in the day when a customer tipped, we would get an order that the base pay would usually be $2, at least to start with. And if they tipped and then if they didn't tip, then it would slowly but surely increase depending on declines and how long an order was out there. Well, mainly declines, it seemed. Anyways, so what happened is they'd go up and then it would take a while, but eventually the customer would get the order and the pay would be higher, kind of like Uber Eats does it right now. But now it doesn't seem like that matters. So like back in the day, if a customer tipped like $10 and it was like a $12, then it'd be a $12 order because the base pay would be $2. And anytime you got a big tip, the base pay would always be $2 because it would be accepted right away because it was a good order. We wanted to take it, and the tip actually mattered back in the day. Like on every order, that tip pretty much mattered for speed. Nowadays, it doesn't seem like at least single tips really matter pretty much at all. It seems like it's more of a collective of tips. So if a bunch of people throughout the day are tipping more, DoorDash's base pay is going to be higher to match the tips, as they do seem to split the tip pretty close, except for when it gets busier, and then the base pay goes even higher than the tips because they got to increase pay on orders throughout. It doesn't seem like they increase at all if it's a single order. If only like 1% of orders are out there, or just like a small amount. Like for example, you got one order out in the middle of nowhere and it's got no tip on there. The only thing they're going to do is they're going to match to me, this is what it seems like to me, is they're going to match what the dasher has got paid before, and also try to match his base pay with what tips he's got before to try to keep it around 50-50-ish. Unless it's super busy and there's a lot of orders out there, then they're just going to send it out and, try to send it to what they think that, he would accept it at for the most part. But a lot of it does seem to be it's all the balance of how much they've made before, especially if you accept everything like I am. It seems like they keep my pay right around $20 to $22 an hour. And if there's not a lot of orders out there and they keep the base pay down for a while, which it does seem like they do that, then eventually it's almost like they realize that, they want to keep it super low. And then eventually they'll hit with a big order. And I've been able to predict this, like a $35 order when you're only making $10 an hour, and then it balances out and gets you from $10 an hour right at $20 an hour eventually, which is pretty interesting. But that's what it seems like. And if a bunch of people are tipping out there, it does seem like, we're going to actually make more money. And then all the orders, technically, they have to pay more per collective because all these tips are out there. But if it's like back and forth, little tip here, a little tip there, especially how they've lowered the suggested tip, they have a lot of leeway to work with, especially on long orders. So for instance, coming out here, the highest suggested tip, going 12 miles from the store is only $4.50, which is just crazy. But they try to match what they've made in tips compared to base pay, and then they increase the base pay. So they'll have the $4.50 tip. They can lower it as low as $2, so a driver can see the order for as low as $6.50, even if it's going this far, based on what they've made before. Like if they got a bunch of base pay, then they're gonna keep the base pay low. On my order, that's $4.50, $2, even though it's 12 miles, it's still only going to be a $2 tip. And also the demand can matter. If there's no orders out there and that's the only order that gets sent, that base pay is going to stay at $2. Even if it's super far away, if they realize that every driver is going to accept everything, then it's just going to pretty much stay low. But it does seem like they've been keeping things very balanced. I haven't really been seeing anything get like super busy lately. It's been just very small moments of like a pickup and get a little bit of extra money, and then it's just back to normal. It's just like, it's getting boring in my opinion. Like the only thing that's like keeping me going is doing YouTube now. It's made it a little bit interesting to talk about it, because I was this close to quitting DoorDash on how boring things have been getting lately. I think I'm gonna go ahead and try some other areas coming up, because at least down here it's pretty much the same. Today was actually decent, but it's like, yeah, they keep, I can predict things. It's like, and you don't even have to be close to the store anymore. It's just like they base it on the time it takes to make that, that base number that they're trying for, which also depends on demand and the overall tips throughout the day. And I'm sure it's also the overall profits throughout the day. But it does seem like, like I said, it does not matter if you're next to the store or not anymore. The only time that matters is if your base pay, well, it just depends on the tips and base pay. So like if that's just what it seems like. Like if you're super close to the store and you're balanced out between tips and base pay, and it's not super far away, then they're going to go ahead and send you, like whatever order is close. So that's what it seems like, they'll do. But if not, if you're, you got a high base pay coming, and you got a lot of tips that were, on the app, and then you've got a lot of base pay to match the tip. It seems like, they'll send you an order far away for like $2, and then that order that has like a $2 tip can be like $18 base pay for a $2 tip. But then if they tipped $18 and you have very high base pay, and you need they need you to get your tips matched with the base pay, then what's going to happen is they're going to try to match you with an $18 tip that's far away. But then that $2 base pay is what it's going to be. It doesn't matter really the distance anymore, just matters the time it takes. It also still depends on the tip technically. Before, the tip would be like per account. Does not seem like it's per account anymore, or like per order. It's more, like I said, of a collective, and also based on accounts and how the pay works. It's just, that's what it's really seeming to me. Even when I was declining everything, it seemed like that's how they matched it. I'd just keep declining, and I'd get the same almost exact orders over and over again, at least when it's busy. And then if it's dead, what it seems like it's happening, at least around my area, I don't know if it's happening in your area, but at least in, they have like different areas that have different things. It's just like Uber Eats. Like Uber Eats has, all these special things they add to, bigger areas, like these special, things that they do differently compared to here that we don't. We just have like a basic shell of Uber Eats compared to if I go somewhere else, and I've seen other, at least, I don't know, I'm from what I've gathered and I've seen online on other places that have different things. But I'm kind of rambling on. I need to go to bed. But this is what it's seeming like to me. It's seeming like it's account based now. They try to keep your account about the same amount as other people, at least in the platinum range. Like if you're platinum, and especially if you're at 100%, they pretty much do that. But yeah, if you decline an order, it doesn't, if it's dead, if you decline an order, at least around here, it seems like they don't really send you any orders, at least for a long time. So it's most of the time best to just take the order. So, and then if it's busy, that's what it seems like. If you decline an order, they're just going to keep sending you the same orders, or they're going to send another order that it might seem better, but it's going to take more time. So it's still going to balance out. if that makes any sense, because it does seem like it's time based. Like, for instance, I'm like balanced out $20 today perfectly. I made sure to stay online. I didn't pause at all, because it does seem like pausing the app does kind of glitch out the algorithm. But I made sure not to pause today, and it just seemed like didn't matter where I was sitting, as long as I was on dash time, they were going to eventually send me an order to kind of match those up. And I don't know, but seriously, I like sat. It didn't matter. I did not go back to an area to see if I would get an order. I would just be like, all right, let's see what happens. Let's see what amounts I get. And so I didn't move, because most of the time, back in the day, if you didn't go towards an area, you would have to be close to an area to get orders. Now it doesn't seem that way. It seems like more like, okay, this is going to take about an hour, so we'll send out the order for $21 or $20 or whatever the means or the base that they're going for the certain day is. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think I'm full of crap, or do you think that I'm onto something? I've done a lot of orders. Maybe I should have said on my account, but 15,964 orders, 371 the last 30 days, and I got 100% acceptance rate, 100% completion rate, and 5 stars customer rating, with no ratings excluded. And another thing someone was touching on, I don't remember what his name was, but he was like right on too, because he was like, yeah, it seems like new Dashers and new Platinum, they seem to give all kinds of really good orders out. It's like when I went from being not Platinum, because I did that for once because I had a Platinum pass, I was like, screw it, let's drop down and see what happens. And I did, and things changed. I didn't really get orders, and I got less orders, and then it was just weird. And then but what happened is I activated Dash Pass, and I started accepting everything again. And then once I got past 80% point, it was like right at 80% to going up past that. It was like crazy good order here, crazy good order there. And then once I got up to like 95% plus, it was just perfect balance. Like always, like right at 100%. It was like every order I'm starting to predict. I know exactly what they're going to do, like almost every time, or at least in the flow. Sometimes it's the next order I can figure out, but then sometimes it takes a few orders, and then they'll eventually, match what I'm thinking. Anyways, I need to go to bed. I got to work tomorrow. Got a lot more bills to go. Please thumbs up, share, comment, subscribe. Bye for now, guys.